We've covered food. We've covered cleaning up after food. The next thing I want to talk about are medications. So let me just put this up here. This is my recommended list. And in this case, I didn't even put links or anything. I figured you all probably have your own favorite thing, but it's good to have medications on hand. And ideally, most people have like their bottle of medication in their medicine cabinet or, sitting next to their sink. If possible, it makes it a little less convenient, I admit, but have a waterproof container that holds your prescription medications in, and then just have like one of the pill holders for that week's worth to put it in there, just to give a little bit more protection to your prescription meds, but also make it easier to grab and go if for some reason you have to get out of the house quick. One person, can just go, oh, that's the container, grab it, and know they pretty much got everyone's medications. So this is for the prescription medications. As far as over-the-counter medications, there's several that I recommend. So starting with like aspirin or ibuprofen, some sort of painkiller. In a grid down situation, you're going to be under stress, you're going to be working hard, you're probably going to get a headache. You may end up twisting an ankle or something like that, or working hard, straining your back. So painkiller, number one. The next thing I really, really recommend is some sort of anti-diarrhea. If, God forbid, you ended up not cleaning something properly and you come down with food poisoning and suddenly you are crapping all over the place, that is a very, very dangerous situation. First, you run the risk of ending up dehydrated, which is really, really bad, especially if you don't have much water stored. If you only have 1 gallon of water stored for you or 3 gallons of water stored for you and you have diarrhea, that's not going to be enough. So you want some sort of Imodium AD type stuff to stop the diarrhea. But also it's very messy. It's really messy. And if you have limited ability to wash yourself, wash the clothing, or even a good place to store the clothing, it just the problems keep adding up really, really quickly. So anti-diarrhea medicine. It's cheap. It lasts a long time. Just have the package there in case you need it. Anti-nausea. If you're vomiting again, if the food poisoning is making you vomiting, you still run into that issue of dehydration. It's not quite as messy as diarrhea, but it's still a dehydration hazard. And if you don't have enough water stored, you can't risk dehydration. So anti-nausea medication is also a good thing to have on hand. Electrolytes, some sort of emergency, rehydration salt tablet, because as you're losing water, you're losing salts, and that has its own problems. And then also with the salts, it helps, solidify things. So some sort of hydration powder, hydration tablet that you can mix with the water so not only replace the water, but replace the salts you're losing. Or also if during the summer, especially in Texas, and there's no air conditioning, using, you're going to be sweating a lot if you're working too much. And by day 3, you can be going into some sort of salt heat shock or heat stroke type situation because you weren't getting the salt you need. Now, if you are eating a bunch of canned foods and stuff, you're probably getting your salt. But it's good to have some sort of electrolyte tablets on hand just in case. And then finally, a sleep aid. Again, it can be very stressful. You can be worried about things. You can be up all night. And sometimes just having a way of helping yourself get back to sleep is really, really, really useful. Now, if, it's day 4 and, the government hasn't come and there are, people starting to raid houses and stuff, maybe not a sleep aid. But for the first few days, especially for family members, if they're really stressed out or freaking out, or, you just have a teenager you want to knock out. Not saying you should do that, but a sleep aid is one of those things you might consider. If you think in a stressful situation you might have problems sleeping, think about it. Side note, so all this stuff, it's to help your family. But hopefully, if you are safe and secure, this allows you also to check on your neighbors, especially elderly people or people who don't have family in the neighborhood, or friends are nearby. People that are more loner types, or people that have a bunch of kids where they're just swamped with everything. So think of it as a chance to help your tribe around you. So all this stuff is to help you. But if you have your needs taken care of, that means you are prepared to help others too. And in a situation like we're discussing, there's going to be people that need help. So if you have your stuff taken care of, you can help them. And that is what makes the world wonderful. You should also have a first aid kit.